4-foot addition to the Carberry Cypress-Langford Fire Hall. I am Fire Chief Keith Loney. Most of you will know me as Gopher. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming out on this nice rainy day. And I hope it just stays rainy, it doesn't turn to snow. And washrooms for people that haven't been here. Ladies is the first right inside the door over here, and the men's the second. And now at this time, I'd like everybody to rise for the playing of Old Canada. If you're able to, if you're not able to, remain seated. And I'll call out Grady.
Good morning, my name is Grady Stephensen. I'm a Deputy Chief with the Fire Department, and I'll be your MC today. This time I'd like to call on Reeve Bob Adriaansen to bring greetings from the municipality of North Cypress-Langford.
Well, thanks everybody for taking the time to come today. I really want to take this opportunity to thank all Keith and all the fire members and all that stuff. It's something that we haven't had a chance to do for a couple of years. On the building aspect of it, I think the project went extremely well, on budget, on time, and we owe a lot of thanks to the guys in the department. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Reeve Adriaansen. I'd like to invite Town of Carberry Mayor Stuart Olmstead to say a few words on behalf of the town.
Not as tall as Grady. Can you hear me in the back? Excellent. On behalf of the town of Carberry, it is my honor and pleasure to speak to you today at the grand opening of our new fire hall. I have to be honest with you, I did not always want to be mayor. When I was 4 or 5 years old, I wanted to grow up to be a firefighter. My favorite show on TV at the time was called Emergency, which featured firefighters and paramedics in Los Angeles. Each week they rescued people in perilous situations, risking their lives to save others. I watched it so much that one of my birthday gifts that year was a bright yellow firefighter helmet to go with the defibrillator paddles I had built out of Lego. I believe our cat was quite startled every time I used them on her and yelled, "Clear!" to shock her back to life from napping on the couch, but amazingly, she always seemed to pull through. I mention this because becoming a firefighter is a dream of many, but a reality to very few. They must have a practical and technical skill set, dedication to the job at hand, and a desire to serve the community and fellow firefighters in times of need. The members of our department, both past and present, have all of that and more. Whether it's training on a Tuesday evening, a false alarm on a Wednesday afternoon, or a vehicle accident at 1 o'clock in the morning on an icy wintry day, we know they will be there to help and assist those that are in need. We are truly thankful for their service and dedication to their profession. As your mayor and on behalf of our community, I want to thank each and every member of the department for the work they have put into this fire hall addition. The plans, logistics, and construction of this fire hall were very much member-driven to suit the needs of the department and the community as we grow. I'd also like to thank the family members of our firefighters. We know that there is a sacrifice of not only time, but worry when a member answers a call. The next call may be to help a stranger, or a neighbor, a family member, or a friend. And that is why you put the uniform on to help others, and we are eternally grateful. In closing, I'd like to thank all of you for your attendance today as we celebrate this great accomplishment of our department and our community.
I'll leave it down here for the next speaker too, I think. Thank you, Mayor Olmstead. We also have in attendance this morning, on behalf of the Honorable Eileen Clarke, her constituency assistant, Jodie Byram. Minister Clarke apparently was busy with flooding and that sort of thing going on in other areas of the province. So I'll ask her to say a few words on her behalf.
Thank you, Grady. So this is totally unexpected for me. I got news that she wasn't able to make it here on my way here and said, you do have the notes, right? Because you're going to have to get up and do this today. So here I am. So good morning, everyone. Thank you, Grady, and the town of Carberry and North Cypress-Langford for extending the invite our way and to be here to speak today. I have to do this. I'm extremely pleased to be here in person today. For 2 years, so many events were canceled and postponed, and we're all tired, exhausted from COVID and poor weather conditions. This spring, it's been a struggle for many, and we all look forward to brighter days ahead. In the last 2 weeks, I spent some time with Eileen in Brandon at the AMM convention and the Municipal Administrators Convention, and we heard about the many challenges that communities face during the pandemic, but we also heard many of the incredible stories and resiliency from the people of Manitoba as well. And in some capacity, we've all endured, adapted, and accommodated over the past 2 years, and we've all persevered despite those challenges. And we've seen also many successes throughout the pandemic. We've got much to be proud of and thankful for. And returning to public events like this is a great start to get out, reconnect with people, and finally see each other in person. Very pleased to celebrate the grand opening with your community and the volunteer firefighters and first responders. And I'd especially like to thank the firefighters for their continued hard work and efforts in maintaining an essential service to protect the safety and residents of the town and surrounding area. I'd also like to acknowledge first responders and send a shout out to the many men and women who are part of those teams as well. Firefighters and first responders work tirelessly. They give up their time to provide the safety and care to the public, and that's not an easy job. Thank you for managing the challenges brought on by COVID and maintaining the service that we all depend on. Your work and efforts are commendable. And I wish you all the best for a great summer, and as you get out, to enjoy the many outdoor festivities, fairs, and other celebrations the season may bring. So again, thank you, and I wish you all the best. And as we get to take part in this grand opening, thank you.
Thank you, Jodie.
As a fire department, we've been very fortunate to have a good level of support from our councils when we considered this beautiful new fire hall and the caliber of the trucks that you see up front today. You can see that they provide quality and reliable emergency services for your friends, family, and neighbors. Everyone that needs them in the high priority for the town of Carberry and North Cypress-Langford. We thank them for their continued support and partnership. I would like to make special mention to our community as a whole. The people that live here are what makes Carberry and North Cypress what it is. Makes this job worthwhile. The support that is shown to us, no matter where or when, is incredible. Whether it is dropping off pizza, or a major fire, or bringing in cases of water, or paying money as credit at a grocery store so that we can get what we need when we need it, and it's very much appreciated. Much of the equipment that you see here, such as the side-by-side quad, rescue toboggan, and many other things, are a direct result of our fundraising campaigns, supported by all of you, and we cannot thank you enough. It would make a special mention now to our generous donors of this new expansion project. McCain Foods Canada, $50,000. Thank you, McCain's. Carberry Area Foundation, thank you very much, a $50,000 donation. Trans-Canada Pipeline, a donation of $25,000. Spud Plains Farms, $10,000. Manitoba Starch, Derek and McLaren, $5,000. Plains Midstream, $2,000. Anonymous, $1,000. Alan and Kathy Reynolds, $1,000. Tom and Lisa Adriaansen, $1,000. Katrina Ag, $500. Dave Blair, $500. And Bev Pagtrich, $100. And if we missed anybody, I'm very sorry about that. We have also able to claim a number of costs from past fires along the CN right away, which went directly towards the cost of the new fire hall built. In total, nearly $200,000 was raised. Thank you also to the contractors who made this building happen. Minko Construction, Carberry Sand Hills Electric, and Radiate Construction. Our members are what makes us who we are. The time that they give, not only answering calls, but training, checking over equipment, cleaning up the hall, washing hose after a fire call, and all the extra things they do. We thank them, and I ask that all the current members please stand, and let's give them a round of applause. We started a junior members program maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We have 2 members that took the course, came to us and took the course with us and went through. Jory and Carter, they're here in attendance here somewhere. Put your hands up. They stayed with us, and they're still with us today. We now, this year with COVID and stuff, we got backed up. So this year we are now mentoring 4 other students, and if you want, put your hands up and I know that there's many past members here in the crowd with us, so if you want to stick your hand up or stand up, that'd be much appreciated. These men and women have witnessed some of the most change in any profession over the years. From the old hall next door to where we're gathered today, and from trench coats and 3/4 boots and high-tech and boots to the high-tech bunker gear and breathing apparatus that we use today. Thank you for all your service to your community. I would like to make special mention to a member here that was a member on the fire department for many years, Chuck Business, who makes sure that his fire hydrant on his corner of the yard is always clean after a snowstorm.
Thanks, Chief. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize Chief Loney for his efforts in this project and that it was well taken care of. I had a role change at work and got pulled out of the project manager position, and he stepped up and made sure that everything was kept on track and completed properly, so thank you. So when we first started discussing the new hall, if anybody was around through the hall, everything was jammed on the other side. We had equipment in the building next door, and it just wasn't working that well for us. So when the assessment came back from the former Public Works building, we needed to get out of there. So it was decided we would have everything under one roof. So as a group of officers, we went to work designing what we thought would be the most economical and the most functional. We looked at a few other halls and tried to take lessons from what we learned and designed it accordingly. The tower that you see in the corner has opened up many training options for us, and the built-in hose drying rack and winch keeps the floor clear. Many of you will remember winding the hoses on the floor to let them dry. So extending their service life. We added ground level fill valves for filling the trucks with water, and there are more than a few people in the room, I think, that are very appreciative that we don't have to climb on top of the trucks or use ladders to refill. Looking at you, Lance. And maybe Don too. I think Don has a story to tell about that as well. So we added offices, some extra storage, a training area with the mezzanine, and included a separate bunker gear room with lockers for all members. Some energy efficiencies were added, including LED lighting, in-floor boiler heat. And one of the most important additions that was sort of an afterthought, but council got behind it really quickly, was we have a natural gas powered backup generator. So we don't have to come down during the power outage and get our gas generator out, plug it in. All of our essentials are operated on a natural gas generator now. We also completed a renovation of our kitchen and classroom area, installed flooring in the new offices, and these projects were all completed by our members volunteering their time to do that. So at this time, I would like to ask Reeve Adriaansen, Mayor Olmstead, Chief Loney, and Deputy Chief Menzies to participate in the ribbon cutting ceremony. And also get Mike and Steve up here, please. I think it's important to mention at this point too,
ran out of ribbon.
just about stretch it as much as your shirt.
Yep. Wait till the drum leaves, buddy.
So just one quick mention, I think it's really important. Our Deputy Chief, Don Menzies, this year and coming up, I think in the next couple of months, if I remember correctly, hits 46 years of service to our department. When we talked about ribbon cuttings, it's okay, you can cut it. I'm going to talk while you're doing it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
I mentioned to Don that he was involved with the opening of 2 fire halls, and he corrected me with 3, so I think the original one was in the early 1900s. So. I'm sorry, Don. It's all respect. So that concludes the formal part of the program. So feel free to take a look around. We have a board of past members in the classroom. So anybody that's been on, or if you know somebody that's been on and you don't see the name on there, please let us know. We've got a notebook there. We want to make sure that we have as many names on there that should be. So you won't offend us if you tell us that there's somebody that we missed. So please have a look at that. Our members will be around throughout the hall. If you want to climb the tower and have a look outside or anything, ask questions, feel free to find somebody in a uniform and they'll be happy to help you with that. Hot dogs will be ready soon. Just feel free to grab a hot dog and a bag of chips and a drink. We have our next fundraising project is we're looking at getting some battery operated jaws of life. It's an important tool obviously for vehicle accidents. We don't have to rely on motors starting in minus 40 or hoses leaking or getting tangled. So we do have a boot out. There's no obligation. The food's free, but if you'd like to drop a donation in, there's a boot just by Audrey on the wall over there. So thanks again to everybody for coming today. And I know the weather's kind of a bit of a deterrent out there. One last thing, our Fireman's Breakfast will return this year on June 18th, so Father's Day weekend. We'll have back to the old steak and eggs and hash browns and everything, so we welcome everybody to come up to that. And if you have nothing else to add?
Actually, when you're going into the kitchen area, there's a bit of a lip there, so just be wary of that. Don't trip over it, as some of our members have done that already, not to mention their names.
Thank you, everybody. Feel free to have a look around, and thanks for coming out today.
It's been in operation for some time, but this feeling today of being able to share this with the community, what does it mean, not just for you and the firefighters, but for the community of Carberry to be able to reach this day?
Reaching this day is very important to us. Like I said in the speeches before, we were struggling with space and stuff, and everybody was realizing that, and the community were having to run to an old fire hall to get trucks out and stuff, and the community really appreciates what we've done, and I thank them again for their support.
Just give us a sort of a feel of what those challenges were in the other building, for example.
Well, for one thing, the old building where we started our second pumper and hazmat trailer and stuff, it was more into it was condemned because of the roof, and the end that we were in, if it snowed much, we had to go up and shovel the roof off. So it was time that we had to get it off. And so we put, like you said, we put it forward to council, and we went on out and tried to get fundraisers and stuff, and which you've seen, we got good funding from community and others around the community, and I guess pipelines and factories and whatever they came out with.
How important was it for all these different levels, like business, municipal council, and the community at large, seeing the value and the need for it and coming together and helping like they did?
The value of that is very high. We respect them. They've backed us in other ventures along the way, and we serve them as well as that's why I guess they help us out as much as we do.
For a community the size of Carberry, this seems like a top tier facility. Just the initial look at it. How do you sort of feel this compares to other communities and larger communities?
I think it's a fairly well comparison. We took some things into consideration, like the hose tower, like you said, we were laying out hose. It became a trip hazard. It rocks your hose. So we put a hose tower in, then we said, well, what's the sense of that? Going to that expense to put a hose tower in, you might as well utilize that hose tower. So as you see back in the corner there, we put stairs up for training and stuff, and there's a balcony out front, out the door up top, that we can use for hose or ladder training, etc. So yes, and also like you said, we dropped the water lines down to ground level, so nobody's climbing on top of the truck, which is now actually would be like a workplace hazard.
Anything else you'd like to share with the viewership of NACTV?
Thank you guys for coming out and shooting this, and everybody I appreciate this day and stuff, and thank you to all the community members that showed up, and have a good day.
All right. This day's been a long time coming. I mean, from a community perspective, how significant is it to be able to finally share this with the citizens of Carberry in this manner?
Well, it's a great accomplishment on behalf of the department and behalf of our community as well. It's been a long time coming, as you said. Basically, this project has been many years in the making, and on top of that, to have a global pandemic right in the middle of it, just basically, as we were about to say, look at what we've accomplished. It's one of these things where it will always be memorable in different ways for different reasons, but it's great to have the public see what our members have done and see what is going to serve the community for the next several decades to come.
And served very well from what I've heard. It really does sound like night and day between the older facility and the new technology and new space of the new facility. Talk to us about how big a difference it really is.
Well, as you can see, just the size of the hall here, the old hall is still attached. We're still using that on behalf of our municipalities, and it just adds, it's that wish list that you say, okay, what would we like in a hall? And how can we go about to get that and get from point A to point B on it? And very much it was member driven to say, this is what we want, this is what we can afford as well, which is very important from a council standpoint to say, we would like a Taj Mahal. We can't afford a Taj Mahal, but we can get 3/4 of what we want for that price.
But the fact is as well, this facility is adaptable from the looks of it and from the sounds of it, that it can increase and can grow with new technologies and whatnot for the future.
Very, very much so. And as you can see from some of the historical aspects and some of the members that are past members here, what we started off with 50, 60, 70 years ago to what we have today, just the amount of equipment and the amount of expense that goes with that equipment, but also the amount of safety that brings the members. It's night and day.
Hey, I'm Grady Stephensen. I'm a deputy chief with the Carberry North Cypress-Langford Fire Department. We're here today at our grand opening and standing in our new locker room. So all of our bunker gear is housed in here. Each member has their own locker. All of our PPE is well up to date and current, and we're very fortunate to have that. We have currently 24 full-time firefighters, and we also have 4 students participating in our Junior Firefighter Program this year.
Tell me a little bit about the Junior Firefighters Program.
Yeah,
what does that entail?
So our Junior Firefighters, usually we try and do 2 every year, but COVID has backed us up. So we bring them on in grade 11, 2 students, and we basically teach them the basics of firefighting, go through the safety protocols, and we get them out on scenes. We protect them from anything serious, but we do try and show them what we've done and explain things to them afterwards. Our first 2 students that we had 3 years ago, they both stayed with the department, and one of them actually had their level 1 certification before they graduated high school. So we're really proud of that, and we find a lot of value of that program. And 2 of those members are still with us today, and we're hoping for the same with our current 4 members.
So you're looking for youth to volunteer to be
That's
part
right,
of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, we work in cooperation with the school, so they do get their course credits for that as well. They complete, I think it's 120 hours or 110 hours of volunteer time, and they get a credit for high school as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, I notice you have a number of female members on the department.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, one of our students this year is a female, and we have 4 or 5 other ladies in our department that act as support staff. They operate radios and look after all the important behind-the-scenes stuff for us.
Okay.
So we've added office space as well. That was something that we noticed with our old hall. We didn't have room for, this is the chief's office, and then our officers have an office next door to us. We needed somewhere private for having conversations or debriefings, or if anybody needs to chat after a bad call or anything like that. So we developed these 2 offices for that purpose.
How does the format work with the department? you have a fire chief, a deputy fire chief, and then captains.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, so we have one fire chief, myself and Deputy Chief Don Menzies are the two deputies for the department. We also have two captains, Bart Witherspoon and Clyde McCallum, and one lieutenant, that's Billy Wright. So, and then we have the other firefighters after that.
Okay.
Okay, so right now we're standing next to our training tower. It's 28 feet to the top, so we use it for ladder training, extrication training. If someone we need to take them out a window, we can bring them down ladders, things like that. Some guys use it for fitness training as well. We also have built into it a hose drying rack, so we can keep our hoses off the floor, and that helps extend the service life by making sure they're dried out properly. We're now standing in our classroom area. We've renovated it as well. It used to have a drop ceiling at 8 feet high. We took that out, tinned the ceiling, added LED lighting, added a bunch of counter space, which for our breakfasts, our fundraisers, even during big calls, if we've got to cook meals for people or our members, or sometimes we have 4 or 5 departments here and we like to feed everybody before we get them on the road home. So this has been a nice addition to the space as well.
I noticed you have a projection.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
as
we
well.
added some technology too. We added a projector and screen, and we've got everything wired in to run off the laptops and everything as well. Drop the camera down there.
Wow.
It's a little bit crowded in here right now.
Like a difference between night and day with the old one and
Yeah, when we were in this part, we had 5 trucks parked in here plus a trailer. It was pretty snug. Picked this truck up last year. Actually, it's got a stuffing unit on the back that we use for gas fires and that sort of thing. The hose trailer actually belongs to the Office of the Fire Commissioner. We had a hydrant issue in town this winter, and we had that in here just as a backup.
Do you have any other equipment like toboggans or boats or anything like that?
Yeah, we have side-by-side quad on tracks with a rescue toboggan that we have wheels for in the summer, skis for in the winter. We also have a bush truck and just sort of a utility vehicle, and then our 4 mainline firefighting trucks. So our current fundraisers, we're going to be buying a cordless Jaws of Life set. So they range anywhere from $35,000 to $55,000. So right now, all of our fundraising efforts are going to that purpose.
And that's a picture of the...
Yeah, that's the pictures of them.
Hi, I'm Jory Aitken, junior firefighter here when I was in high school. Started it in 2018. I went through grade 11 and 12. The program was very beneficial, I think, for me in a lot of ways. Being able to just kind of help me grow up, I guess, a little bit. Feel the sense of a team, work with all the guys, and kind of help me direct me in where I wanted to go in life after high school.
And you were part of the school program, you get a certain amount of credits, is that correct?
Yeah, I would earn 2 high school credits through the whole program.
Yeah.
So it went towards my credits, I guess, when I was graduating.
So you're with the fire department now, full time, but what's your career outside of that?
Outside of that, I'm a refrigeration mechanic in town. Actually, I work in town still, and so I'm working towards my apprenticeship for that, and I enjoy what I'm doing here.
So how many hours were you committed to?
I wasn't really committing to any hours. It was just kind of when I could show up, I came. So.
that was during the week and possibly weekends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you weren't put in any hazardous circumstances.
Not at all.
No.
No, the guys were very good on keeping us safe.
Yeah.
And we always had somebody with us. We were always supervised fairly well, so.
And they supplied you with some uniform or some gear.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
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 They supplied us with all that stuff. So.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.